A very good morning to all. Today we are moving to the next chapter, that is chapter number 8, and the name of the chapter is Body Movements. So we all know about living and non-living organisms, right? So can you all think of a main difference between a living and a non-living organism? That is, the non-living organisms cannot move. Can they move? No. What about a living organism? It can move. So that is the main difference between a living and a non-living organism. That is, living organisms can move and non-living organisms cannot move. So that is what we are going to learn in this chapter, that is about movements. So what is the meaning of the term movement? That is, it is the change in position. Let's take the example of human beings. So human beings can move. We can move from one place to another. Even we can move the different parts of our body. What about animals? Can animals move? Yes, right. Even animals can move. Most of the animals move from one place to another. Only few animals that do not move, like sponges, corals, etc. But these animals can move their body parts. So why do these animals move from one place to another? So these animals move from one place to another for several reasons, like search of food and water. We know that animals need food to live, right? They are living organisms. They need food and water to live. So they move from one place to another in search of food and water. So some animals move to escape from enemies. So we know that there are animals that eat other animals, right? So to escape from such animals, some animals move faraway places. Then there are animals that migrate to faraway places, like birds. Birds living in extremely cold regions during winter season, they migrate to warmer regions, and when the condition becomes favorable, they again fly back. So animals move from one place to another in search of food and water, to escape from enemies, to return to their shelters. So animals also move from one place to another. So movement means it is the change in position. Different animals show different types of movements, like terrestrial animals. So what are terrestrial animals? Animals that live on land. For example, lion, tiger, elephant, deer, all these are examples for terrestrial animals. Lion. It can run and walk by using its 4 legs. What about an elephant? Even it can walk and run by using its 4 legs. What about a kangaroo? It can hop. What about a snake? It can crawl. Then what about a monkey? It jumps from one tree to other. What about a rabbit? It can hop. So these terrestrial animals show different types of movements. Terrestrial animals can walk, they can run, jump, hop, etc. So each kind of animal has a body that is designed to move in its environment. So terrestrial animals can walk, they can run, they can jump, hop, etc. Then what about aquatic animals? So what is the meaning of aquatic? Aquatic means water. So water animals. How these aquatic animals move? They move by swimming in water. They swim in water. Fish, shark, dolphin, all these are examples for aquatic animals. And these animals move from one place to another by swimming. Then the next is aerial animals. Animals that keep flying day and night. Insects, bats, even birds are aerial animals. And how do they move? They move by flying. Each kind of animal has a body that is designed to move in its environment. Terrestrial animals can run, they can jump, they can hop. Water animals swim in water. Aerial animals can fly. Different animals show different types of movements. How does movement occur? Human beings and vertebrates have internal skeleton made up of bones. So what is this internal skeleton? The skeleton that is present inside the body is called internal skeleton or the endoskeleton. Vertebrates, that is the reptiles, birds, amphibians, all this comes under the category of vertebrates. So human beings and vertebrates have internal skeleton that is made up of bones. So this internal skeleton gives structure to our body. So this internal skeleton gives structure to our body. Human beings and vertebrates have internal skeleton made up of bones. So these bones cannot alone make our body move. So the bones are connected to muscles, and bones and muscles work together in movement. So the bones and muscles together help in movement. So human beings and vertebrates have internal skeleton, which means a skeleton that is present inside the body, which is also called as endoskeleton. The bones are connected to muscles, and bones and muscles together help in movement. The next is external skeleton. Animals like crabs, scorpions, starfish, so these animals have external skeleton. That is skeleton that is present outside the body, which is called as exoskeleton. That is in the form of shells. So these animals have no internal skeleton, they have external skeleton, which means they have skeleton which is outside their body. So the tissues that helps the body of these animals to move are attached to these exoskeleton. That is this external skeleton. So the tissues that helps these animals to move are attached to the external skeleton. There are animals like worms, that is soft-bodied animals like worms. They have liquid skeleton, which means their body is filled with fluid. Their body spaces are filled with liquid. So the fluid-filled segments or cavities enable these animals to move. So how does movement occur? The first is internal skeleton. So human beings and vertebrates have internal skeleton, which means the skeleton which is present inside the body. So the bones are attached to muscles. Bones and muscles together helps in movement. Then there are animals that have external skeleton. Then there are animals that have liquid skeleton that enables them to move. So this is how the movement occurs. Moving to the next one, that is human body and its movement. So we know that human beings have internal skeleton that is made up of bones. So have you ever thought, if we had no bones in our body? If we had no bones in our body, how do we all look like? Our body looks shapeless, right? Our body looks like a shapeless blob. Our body has an internal skeleton that is made up of bones. So bones are connected to muscles. Bones and muscles together helps in movement. The next term is tendons. The muscles are attached to the bones by a tough tissue that is called tendons. And the muscles work in pairs. That is, when one muscle contracts, the other relaxes. Let me give you an example. So can you all just bend your elbow like this? So when you bend your elbow, the muscles in front of the upper arm, it contracts, and muscles at the back of the upper arm, it relaxes, which means muscles work in pairs. When one contracts, the other relaxes. The muscles are connected to the bones with a tough tissue that is called the tendons. So this results in the movement of body parts. So I hope this topic was clear to you, that is about movements. So the main difference between a living and a non-living organism is that living organisms can move. Movement means it is the change in position or movement in our body itself. So human beings and vertebrates have an internal skeleton that is made up of bones. Then some animals have exoskeleton or the external skeleton. The soft-bodied animals have liquid skeleton that enables them to move. So I hope this class was clear to you. We'll meet in the next class and discuss about human skeleton. Till then, thank you.